All right. Morning, team. We're back. And we're back with the same chart. Inside yesterday's range, inside overnight's range, inside the hourly range, inside the previous day's range, and the previous day before that, and the previous day before that. So what do we take from that? It's going to be a choppy day unless we can get a clean breakout of these levels here. All right, these are the ranges. So either failed breaks above and below, or breakouts and sustained bids, or sells above and below. Have a look at the hourly. Nasty, real nasty. So either head and shoulders, or we start to pump up. Very tricky while it makes its mind up. VIX has broken down through its lows, trading at 1480, can trade down to the low 1460s. QQQ sat right at supply right now. ES kind of in a block that it put in yesterday afternoon, or yesterday morning, I should say. Looking for that bull flag for continuation on the ES. Market in a very interesting predicament right now. Very interesting. Not totally sure what it wants to do. I just said to my team, it could be a no trade day for me today if it can't show me something very clean. Not enjoying what I'm seeing so far. Even on the tape, it's just messy, really messy on the tape. So a mix between some profit taking, some adding on, some more selling. It's just chopping. No big level to aim for other than that 300. There's a seller of 200 lot up at 300. And there's a buyer down at 62, 21,062. And other than that, not a whole lot we can do other than wait. We've got news coming at 10 o'clock, and it's not really news. It's Fed talkers. And what do Fed do? They normally talk a load of waffle. And what will that do? Probably create even more chops. So not ideal right now, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. We did have the market gapping up in terms of the Mag 7, other than Tesla, which sold back down to its support of yesterday. But the rest of the market gapped up and is holding bids. All right, Nvidia up 1.5, Meta up 2.2% on the day. Google, Amazon, both up about 0.5%. Microsoft 0.25%, and Apple pretty much flat. So we have to see if some bids come into the market today. Can we get through this supply that we're looking at, the Asia London high, or are we going to have a failed breakout and a sell back down? I have no idea. It's a shame that London Asia didn't do more. I would say that the London move, which held yesterday's low, is a fairly bullish sign, but we just have to see now. We are buying high if we're buying up here. Unfortunately, London got that dip down. So we'd need to see a breakout, retest, and hold, really, for us to have a good level here. So there is the breakout. Another few minutes until the new hourly candle. So of course it's going to time that perfectly with the hourly candle. So if we can sustain this, probably trade up towards 90. So there's probably another 50 points in this if it can break out and hold above. Like I said, very interesting. So again, these are the key levels that we're looking at. Higher time frames, this red box here and the blue box underneath. Right, all the blue box here. Breakout, you're looking at either sustained bids above to trade back upside, or a failed breakout and then back down into here, or a trend day down, or a failed breakdown and a reversal back up. This is all range inside here. So all inside here, I'm not really interested in. There you go. As soon as it tapped the top of that range, wash the stops, traded straight back inside. So this is what I'm very concerned about today. All right, and some decent selling coming in there as well. So first attempt of that breakout failed. So an FBO above that high. Morning, everyone in chat. Sorry, getting around to you. So good morning, DJ Noah, Ryan, Mindful Matters, Sloth. Good morning, everybody. So news in about 40 seconds, or Fed speakers in about 40 seconds. and a new hourly candle. We'll see what the hourly candle does. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 points of control on the hourly within 40, 50 point range. So a huge amount of volume being built up here the last few sessions, which is concerning because we're not breaking away from it in either direction. Morning Sloth, morning Tomac, morning Jeff. New hourly candle here. Nothing to do so far this morning. Waiting to see if we can break out, sustain a bid, or if we're going to roll back down. Can see as soon as we tagged that daily level, starting to fail. So previous day open, previous day close. Volume trapped in between here right now. That's the top of the hourly supply. It's also the old new week opening gap. So messy, 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 messy. Morning Coop. Morning Tyson. Thanks Coop. So let's see, let's just see. Gonna have to be very, very patient today. Gonna have to be patient. Trading in a very tight range so far. Morning 60 hour. SPY trading to VWAP right now. ES has got a little bit to go. QQQ and NQ a little bit to go. So I want to see if there's a reaction here, or if this is just going to be that failed attempt to go higher that we talked about. This is why it's going to be really tricky. Price action is not going to be nice until we break out. All right, we're not going to have clean moves until we get a breakout or a very obvious failed breakout. We need one side trapped. We don't need both sides just adding and adding and adding and adding, which is what we're having at the moment. Hey Glenn, hope you're good. Tally ho. Tally ho. So VWAP incoming here on the NQ and on ES. So we have soaked off that so far today. I'm interested. Are they going to finally let it go? Who knows? But obviously we have, this is the low that created this high. So we know buyers came in here this morning. So if we start to invalidate this, maybe we can dig down a little bit lower. Back 2 points of control here. This is what makes it very, very hard on an hourly, trading back into 2 points of control here, where we know there's a huge amount of volume being built up. Hey, Activate. Good to have you back. So interested if we're going to start to sell back down towards the bottom end of the range here. Overnight lows at 127 maybe. We've caught enough off guard in that move up into supply. Be very careful if they're just going to sweep that first level and trade back higher and sustain bids. So like I said, it's going to be a very, very tricky day here today until it proves otherwise. Maybe there's a short in here if it shows its hand that it wants to stay heavy. Just careful under this swing low here. All right, if they start to sustain bids up here, it's going to be problematic. So far looking pretty good. Another 25 minutes left until the initial balance is set. Nice little breakdown here. I want to see if we can take out this morning's low, ideally, on the New York print. Now that we're breaking underneath the lower time frame algo and the flow zones are starting to roll over. Well, there was some good selling on the tape, but need to see if there's a continuation here. That's better. So I want to see it snap the overnight, or sorry, the morning session low. Need to see it snap 82. If they keep protecting this, it's going to be problematic. ES looking very, very good by comparison. So tech holding up. Yes, that 20 is going to be key. Good for NQ here. Needs to just snap underneath this New York session opening print. The low opening print low into 80. Needs to break under that, and then we can potentially get that rotation in the H1 down towards 65, 31s, and 92s. Here we go, much better. So can we sustain some sell pressure here? Uh, 10 sloth, 10 for NQ. So very cautious here if they're just going to sweep that New York low and start to pump higher. That's what I'm going to be very, very careful about. I've already locked most in there for that breakdown underneath. So how we act back towards VWAP now will be key. There's the pump back towards VWAP now. So what you have to be careful about is this is a range, all right? This is still a range, New York range inside a range. So if they're going to really tear this upside, you have to be a little bit careful. Good morning, Greg. Morning, everybody. So I want to see if we get some form of continuation breakdown here to come and attack this level here. And on the higher time frames, can we get down towards here and here? If we get underneath yesterday's low, we open the gate for a big, big move down. Right, so they're going to want to protect these. These are old points of control in here, in here, in here. There's lots and lots of volume being built up here, which is why I'm saying today will be tricky. It's a see money, take money type environment until it proves otherwise. Both sides of the trade, not just see money, take money, long or short, both sides. So there's a pump back up into VWAP. All right, so we swept New York session low, turned straight back upside. ES not at VWAP yet, SPY not at VWAP yet, but the Qs and NQ both at VWAP. Like we said, tech was gapping up today, other than Tesla. Retesting where we failed from now. This looks pretty good for a continuation higher now, to be honest. Probably caught too many off guard down there when it started turning. So we have to see, does this pullback inside into VWAP start holding now? Are we going to rotate back up? Again, we're just in rotational phases. We're in a market trapped inside a box right now. They've caught enough shorts up there, they will have the juice to go higher if they've caught enough. Saradi P, good morning. Morning, Greg. What a turn that was off that high time from Algo. So as soon as it swept that New York low, I started covering, and then look at that turn. I have to be see money, take money. They've definitely caught shorts off guard here, looking for a continuation low, which never came. So now the question is, does pullback hold, do pullbacks hold into this sort of range? If they've caught too many, they're just going to keep firing up, which would be really hard to get back involved in this for a long. But just respect the range that we've currently created in New York and make sure you're zooming out, all right? Make sure you're zooming out. This blue box here is technically supply. I can do this as red to make it more obvious. This is where we've failed time and time again so far, all right? Top of Asia and London. And this is where we found bids the last few sessions, all right, down here. So we're just trading back and forth until one breaks or fails to break. If we get a failed breakout, that will also offer a nice trade. We either need breakout traders in the market for sustained action, or we need breakout traders in the market to use their stops for rotations the opposite ways. And until we get that, it's going to be pretty hard to get much. This is NQ, mate, on NQ. You can see from the figures on the right. Okay, so two pullbacks into VWAP hold here. Note ES trading very, very differently to NQ here. ES just drove back up to this island that it put in this morning up towards 630 and failed. So ES looks fairly different right now to the Qs. Looking at a 5-minute chart. Lots of trendline liquidity from that, I would say, London into New York open that we can still run. Just in balanced price action right here. Push, pull until they choose what they're ready to do. I'm not going to buy this dip yet. What I also know is you've got Fed talk happening, and they only have to say one stupid thing to absolutely ruin the technicals here. So Waller currently talking about digital currency currently, that they don't need the digital dollar. Yeah, this is all because of the rise of Bitcoin the last week. So it dips into that VWAP. Do they hold? ES looking pretty heavy here, I'm going to say. On that 5 minutes, got another 20 seconds to a new 5-minute bar. Tesla puts, yeah, Tesla just broke down underneath that 340. So yesterday traded up towards 360s, gave back the whole move overnight. That 340 and 320 are pretty key levels. ES right back to VWAP again. So just messy this morning while we battle. Even just zooming out, looking at the hourly, looking at the M15, just choppy. But that last hourly dip soaking looks pretty good, I will say. We soaked off the 6 a.m. candle this morning. So the low of this current 10 o'clock bar on the hourly soaked off that 6 a.m. candle. If it's trapped enough down there, it should really have the strengths to go and pop 254s and then run up potentially back to those overnight highs that we put in a few days ago. This is a game of liquidity like it always is. ES heavy under VWAP here. Can't get over it. Now retesting it one more time. Potential bear flag on the M5 on ES. Looks very different to the Qs right now. Like we said, tech has been strong this morning, so it's probably holding the Qs up. Nvidia, Meta, Google, and Microsoft all green. Amazon pretty much flat. Tesla down pretty significantly, but not really compared to that 10% gap up it had yesterday. Nice, Ryan. Good work. There you go. Told you it wouldn't take you long, didn't I? No big deal there. $100 is nothing, mate. So a battle here. It's a real battle here between a potential breakdown bear flag back to this low, sweep this low continuation, or using this liquidity in this box right here for a trap and move back higher. All right, so pretty balanced right now until proves otherwise. ES definitely the heavier of the two. So tricky. Can see trades both sides right now, which means not to take something that's a lack of edge. ES looks really good here, breaking down again. So back down to test 620s, I would say, on the ES, which is current New York session low of day. Not too dissimilar to yesterday, but a little less range. Yesterday afternoon was good. Those in Discord would have seen yesterday afternoon was really good. Once we tested that old value area low, and I said, be cautious here. If they start to reclaim, then we're going to go long. And that's exactly what happened. So yesterday offered a really nice afternoon session. I did post it in the community and on Twitter later in the day, or X, whatever you want to call it. We caught that in Discord ahead of time. So just trading around VWAP here. This sort of 200 mark on NQ is interesting. Keeps coming down into that and finding bids. Seller at 220 and a big seller at 300 on the tape. Downside buyer at 62 to 21,062. Not a lot in between these levels. So those are kind of the extremes that they're looking at. Eight and a half more minutes till the IB set. IB today currently just 73 points, right? Really small IB. Not a lot to do here right now. We've had one trade out of it, just waiting. Does this want to snap? That's the question. Or are they just going to keep soaking and soaking and soaking and soaking for a rotation? Amazon now red, Google now red. Joining Tesla. Microsoft not far away. So those have all gone green to red on the day. They gapped up and started selling off the morning drive. Like we said, that 200 seemed key. They kept soaking off it. So just have to be patient, see what they do here. Don't get yourself trapped. Don't get frustrated. We're in a very tight range. If it's going to continue to do this all day, I'm going to take the day off. These are days where it becomes very easy to blow your accounts. You'll overtrade. You'll force stuff in. Ask yourself, trend, look at the flow zones. So we're going to see. Didn't want that to be loud in the microphone. Look at the flow zones. They're flat. VWAP is flat. Lower time frames flat. Higher time frames flat. It's telling you chop. So don't get chopped up. Don't become the liquidity for the market. Thank you, Coop. Yeah, I think I've woken up with a bit of a cold this morning. Hopefully I can shake it. I went for dinner on Sunday with friends, and one of the guys was sneezing non-stop, and he said it's because he'd been at someone's house with a dog and he had dog allergies. I was like, I don't want to get ill. Please tell me that's true. No, I'm not so sure it was true. I'm a bit sniffly and stuffy this morning. Oh, God. Nothing to do here. It's terrible, isn't it? Absolutely terrible. Something will give eventually. It's just, am I going to be patient enough and be around all day to be here? Or do I call it a day early and see what happens tomorrow? We're an hour into the day and I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I said it very early in the chat. I could tell straight away. Look at VIX with that bounce, all right? 1480 bounce back up to 15. Yes, not really moving too much off that. Morning, Foster Scott. Saradi, my audio's muted. I don't think it's muted. I can see it on my mic auxiliary. Might just be you, Saradi. Let me know, stream. Is everyone else having the same issue? Am I muted? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just you, Saradi. Yeah, no worries. I know this is boring, guys. I know it's super boring, but I cannot take a trade here until there's something clean. And all the time we're just trading in between a tightening range. There's not much to do. We do also have divergence. Maybe they've caught enough here. Like I said, there are lots of stops above. If they can catch this and do this kind of move and get above here, this is supply, then we can reprice higher. The only problem is looking at ES. The hourly does look kind of good. It's kind of interesting, like I was talking about. This 10 a.m. candle dipped down to this 6 a.m. candle where we last put in the base. And we have lots of stops here. So a trade through 50 would get a stop run up to reprice this hourly candle is my thought process. But I can't, it's not giving me a reason to buy it. And that's the hardest thing in ranges, is giving you a reason to buy it, because we've got a tightening range here with a ton of stops down here. And really the edge of the range is all the way down here and below yesterday, previous day low, right away down here. So the best buy was this in London, right, into support of yesterday, right here, where we found buys yesterday, we repriced, London bought that buy, and they're comfortably in the money. Now we're buying high. So now we kind of have to wait for a breakout retest, buy high, but know that we've got stops baked into the market. ES is still below VWAP. But it can be expected. The market's just cooling down after what we had last week. Emotions were running high last week, not just in how people felt, but also how people were acting in the market. You could see it. 1,200 point rally because we elected someone new doesn't make that much sense. It's just emotional. That's emotional trading. The hope, it's hopeful trading, the thought process that maybe some red tape will lift and become easier. But there's nothing actually in terms of data yet to say that the market should be trading higher. So it was a very, very euphoric moment for the market. And that was seen by us trading above that top Bollinger Band on the daily, like we talked about. Okay, so another drive up has failed, back down to VWAP again. So, like I said, nothing to do here yet. ES stayed heavy at VWAP. That was key. Watching ES. VIX trading at 15 flat. Oh, is it? Yeah. I mean, I think there will be a rotation soon enough, Foster Scott, into Bitcoin. We talked about it on Sunday. I gave my fibs for Bitcoin. We tagged 90,000. That was the fib, the 161 extension off that daily flag. Tagged it and started selling off that. So not surprising to see the first sell off that. Next move would be a 100% move. Once we start to do that, you'll probably start to see some trimming on Bitcoin and some rotation into some of the altcoins, I would have thought. Altcoin season probably start in a month or two. once they get a rotation. Which should be fun. Nothing like a nice gamble on some piece of shit coin worth absolutely nothing that ends up going 10,000% and you make money. It's always fun. Good guy to watch for all that stuff, because I don't really do the crypto, but if you're big into crypto, probably worth watching Cameron Foose. He moved from penny stocks to crypto and does very well. Living out in, I'm not sure if he's in Thailand or Bali now. I think he's in Bali, back in Bali again. So look at the breakdown on ES. Like I said, much cleaner action on ES today. That bear flag on the M5 stuck against VWAP starting to break down. NQ not playing ball because you've got a mixed bag on the Mag 7, making it much, much harder. So that would say to me probably energy or banks or something is having a pullback moment, which is why ES is weaker. And that VIX driving back up through 15 again. Look at this strength from the Qs by comparison. Holding VWAP, another 20-point drive higher. Good strength there, really good strength there on that drive. Still choppy. Yeah, totally. That's exactly it. Waiting for CPI data. So trapping liquidity, and they might even start moving it later in the day. But, you know, we've been in this range since Sunday now. But yeah, you're spot on there, 60 hour. It's exactly what they're doing. It is possible we break out of it. Like, there is nothing to say that we can't do that. It is possible we break out of it, but who knows? Yes, trading lower. Real divergence here and mess in these markets. Chris Dunn. I've never seen Chris Dunn stuff, actually. I'll check that out. So he's a crypto trader, is he? 60 hour. I'm interested if they start running these stops, if they've manufactured these stops at 32, then I think they get the juice to go to 53. If they pop 53, then really we should be starting to push upside towards 90 and 300, but who knows? Feels like they've done it. It's just going to need ES to get back above VWAP. It's going to really struggle to do it if the rest of the market's not going to join. It can't just rely on tech. ES did it sweep its IB low? I think it just about did. Yeah, it did sweep IB low. So failed breakdown underneath initial balance on the ES. You can see that NQ got nowhere near it. So relative strength that we keep talking about. I would really just like to see us get back above 50s and see how we act there. If we can get a breakout or a failed breakout. Looking pretty good here for a potential squeeze. You've got to get through sort of 35s. Straight through 35. There is that order sitting at 300 that I keep talking about. It's a 200 lot order sitting around 300. So that might be a magnet, but really it's got to get through 30s, 35s, and those 50s, the high of days. If it can't do that, it's just going to continue to chop and build and chop and build and chop and build. And it's just going to be impossible to trade like this. You cannot trade this. This is absolutely impossible to trade. I'm going to give it, honestly, I'm going to not give it very long. If it doesn't show me something in the next 15, 20 minutes, I'll probably just leave. I'm not going to hang around and watch the market do nothing. It's how you build temptation. ES failing again. So this is the problem like we keep talking about. The rest of the market doesn't want to move, and tech does. Yeah, exactly, Matt. Nothing to do. We called it last night in the room. I said what I'd be looking for overnight. Woke up this morning, nothing had happened. Called it the same this morning. Watched New York, nothing's happened. So, I mean, we can't, it's just one of those things where you have to practice patience. Until it does something, you just can't, there's nothing to do. There's just nothing to do. Maybe here, maybe here. Are you going to do it? Can you start pushing through 30, 35s, 50s, and then up to 300s? That would be really nice. That would be really nice. Here we go. Okay, so here's the 35 test. ES back to VWAP, so that's good. We want to see sorry, ES trade through VWAP now. We've wicked 35. I don't want to see this trade back downside now. I don't want to stop hunt. I want to see it expand. This is terrible. Come on. Nice, ES. Good work. All right, come on, Qs. You're finally in alignment. Let's get going. Let's get going. Jesus Christ. This is so bad. What is the point? What is the point in watching this? This is so bad. This is some of the worst action I've seen in a long time. So ES faked out above VWAP, couldn't base, traded back downside, 5-minute candle is about to close, back inside of its shitty range. maybe now they've caught enough off guard to go back downside now, you know, it's possible. After that push into 35, just swept. Ugh, what a bunch of crap. Nothing like a 70-point range to trade in on a day. Jesus. I don't care. I honestly don't care which way it goes. It has to do something. I'm just like flicking through my charts thinking, what's the point? VIX trading back towards its lows. ES unable to move higher. More divergence there. We're getting tighter and tighter now. Morning range was half decent, not really, and now we're stuck in between this. So we were stuck between this, and now we're stuck between this. It had a chance to do something up here, and it couldn't do it. And what I don't like is if it's just going to build liquidity out here without doing that move, it's going to be very suspect to a big wash move out of nowhere. If bulls get frustrated and they start selling, you've got enough stops built in. So you can see both sides of the trade here, and that's never a good thing. ES re-approaching its IBL while the VIX is near low of day. More divergence. NQ sat above VWAP, not really moving much. ES getting heavy here. An attack back down towards that 20 level. That IBL we talked about. Underneath that, it has a chance to go and attack London lows. Qs are just not following suit. So neither of them in partnership today. Most of FX is red on the day. Bonds are green on the day, which would increase selling normally on the ES. Mag 7 mixed bag. Yeah, maybe Mike. That's what I was talking about, that London low. 612, previous day low as well. 5-day moving average right underneath that. Bottom of the range on ES. May well do that. It looks more than possible to do that. ES just trading much cleaner. Look at the 5-minute chart on ES and look at the 5-minute chart on NQ. ES trading much, much cleaner. Maybe Ryan, but I think really just trapping liquidity in a range. I can see it both ways here, so I wouldn't really call that an HNS yet. We're also sat at point of control from overnight and yesterday, and we've got Thursday, Friday's POC as well that we're trapped between. So we've got 4 points of control on the hourly that we're just dancing between. So like right here, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, Sunday, Monday, today. This is where all the volume is based, which is where we're trapped between. It's why we're stuck right now. We've not actually got out. Is that the opening print? Let me check this. If you look at the first 15-minute candle on the day, we've not moved outside of that. We've wicked outside of that, but there's been no closure outside that first 15-minute bar of the day. So in terms of opening range break, absolutely nothing. So no expansion. They do have expansion on the ES though, downside expansion on it. On the Qs, no expansion. All right, so ES went under IB, trading back to IBL now. I have to see if they reject this for a trend day down, or if they reclaim it, put in an inverse head, potentially for a trade back up through VWAP and to reprice higher. I'm going to give this to the new hourly bar. If it's like this, into the new hourly bar, guys, I'm going to leave early. I have to do self-preservation. Okay, I know it's probably annoying for you, but I'm not going to sit and watch this. It will make me want to press buttons. All right, and then it becomes very easy to hammer buy, sell, over and over and over and over again. And before you know it, you've done damage to your account. So no way am I going to do that. Absolutely no chance. Learned my lesson in many years from this stuff. But ES looks really clean. Probably should have just flipped over and traded ES short side today. 5 minutes, so clean. Kill candle down, bear flag back up, stuck underneath VWAP, wash to IBL, rejection of IBL now on that retest. It can trade back down to previous day low and into 6,012.25. You've got the 5-day moving average right underneath that. That's a back test of a higher time frame level as well. Much cleaner on the ES. For a trend day down, you will need to see it stay heavy on every retest of IBL. When it reclaims IBL, you need to be risk off in terms of the short or risk back on in terms of potential longs. Just dancing. Nothing's changed. We've been here since 9 a.m. Monday, so we've spent 24 hours here now. Ugh. ES right at its IBL there. Still nothing to do. Absolutely nothing to do. Oh my gosh. You see how tired I get when the market doesn't move. Good day, I would say, to just set price alerts. So if I was going to set price alerts today, I'd probably be setting them just ahead of 250, so probably 240s, 280s, 340s, and then the low side I'd be looking at 150s and 100. Save yourself the hassle of watching paint dry. Set price alerts. Really easy to do. Right, all you have to do, right click your mouse. Kind of remember now, and then just add alert. All right, and it'll just set it at the price you want. You can always change that. You can have it set to email you. I can think you even have it set to text you. ES still can't get back over its initial balance low on a 5-minute. Keeps retesting it, trapping between higher time frame algorithm and an initial balance low. Low hanging fruit trade, if it gets heavy, will be for that move back down to previous day low. It did check it overnight though. That's the only thing. It did check that level overnight. New hourly bar in 6.5 minutes or so. Nice rejection off IBL on ES there. Low hanging fruit trade, if it's going to do it, is the overnight low, previous day low, if you're running ES. All right, so that IBL trade is working out so far if you're taking that. You want to see a break of structure here and a run straight back down to 12s. You don't want it to keep soaking here over and over and over again. Microsoft back to green on the day. Apple now green on the day. Meta green on the day. Nvidia green on the day. Amazon down about 0.25%. Google down 0.25%. Tesla down 2% on the day. A real mixed bag. Bonds are up, green on the session. Most of your FX pairs are red on the day. Probably got some sector rotation here. Everything's red or pretty much flat. Like if you actually have a look, ES is down 12 points. NQ is down 11 points. RTY is down 20 points. YM down 136, which is nothing. We're pretty much flat on the day. Dixie pretty much flat. Gold down 12 points, nothing. Been in a bearish market since it put in that drive last week. It will find bids at some point, gold, I think, but it has been heavily extended to that upside. Amazing to see Dixie at 106. Nuts. Didn't think we'd see that. I think we get a rotation there again soon. maybe January. Maybe we hold this whole market up till January. Who knows? Santa Claus rally, pump, 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 pump. Trap retail, drop it. Who knows? Right at POC. We're just trading right at POCs. All I'm really looking at to stop me looking at anything else is this right now. I'm not interested in trading inside this. This will be nice. This will be nice. This will be nice. This will be nice. Inside this, no chance. Yes, just looks so good. So much better. Oh, I would have liked that short on ES around as a drive back into 30 looked pretty good. That rebalance on an M5. That's a really nice move. You're up like 12 points since then. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's not bad. Full send short now. What do you reckon? Here goes ES coming back down now. So it's looking for that previous day low and overnight low into 12s. Nice, Tyson. And we got a new hourly candle coming in a couple minutes. So this can be the drive down. If they want to soak it, they will. If they want to extend that hourly back down, they can. Coming right back down towards low of day here. Where we found buyers all day. Yeah, lovely. I mean, I really like that short, Foster Scott. That's a good short up there. Luigi, hello. It's a really good short. Just make sure you're being paying yourself, right? We know overnight in ES where we dropped that on London and we swept the previous day low, we know we found bids there. Look left on a higher time frame. That is a retest area of a key level. We've got the 5-day sat right there as well. So there might be some early covering into it. So make sure you're paying yourself a little bit, hold your runners for breakdown further. All right, nice. Still good. Oh, capped. Yeah, I removed it. Drop me. Can you drop me an email? Just do it to flowzonetrader@gmail.com. Give me an email and I'll give you that code for you. I'll give you a one-off code just for you. Or do you know what? There might be a ton of you. If there's a ton of you on stream, I tell you what, I'll do a 24-hour code. Let's set that up now for you all. Should just be able to log in. Tyson should be able to log in on Teachable. All right, so the code will last 24 hours and it's 1 day only. So number 1 and then capital letters, day only. That will get you the same code as you had on YouTube. No, $100 discount. I don't do 50%, sorry. Okay, that's the code. 1 day only. Tyson. My trading PC at work logs in auto. I don't see a login link on my home PC. Yeah, if you go to Teachable, teachable.com, there's a login up there. So it's whatever your email is. I'll try and find it for you. So teachable.com, you would just go, I can't do mine because it would log straight in, but you just log in normally as a student. Whatever email you signed up for, it will be there. Yeah, the cost of the course is going up next year. I was going to do it now, and I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to get rid of the discount, and we'll put it up in January. That seems fair. But yeah, I'll do the. I'll honor that because I thought we'd finished it capped, but I remember you saying about it. So there you go. I've put that on sale for $100 off using code 1 day only, and that will finish tomorrow. That sale. So we wicked underneath. Sorry, let's get back to the charts. That's my fault. We wicked underneath IBL. Okay, and we reclaimed. So far, failed auction to the downside. And ES staying heavy underneath its initial balance low. VIX just chopping around the 1490s to 15s. We haven't swept previous day low yet on the ES. No worries, capped. And that's it. There's not much else to talk about here. Market's just not really moving. Maybe there was a short here when we got stuck at VWAP to this. VWAP to IBL is a trade. IBL to VWAP is a trade. But because the range is so tight, I was sort of not really interested. Maybe that's not fair. 30 points wouldn't have been bad on a day like this. Probably should have, woulda, coulda. So let's see if they reclaim VWAP now, or if it stays heavy. If we reclaim it, obviously we have a ton of stops up here, don't we? All these guys, all their stops are up here. So if we reclaim this, start doing this, we can go back up. It's going to need ES to do the same thing. If ES is just going to continue to trade downside, then maybe this retest becomes bear flag, failure, expansion. I don't know because I have no real bias here. I know ES is heavy. feel like I've got deja vu here. Let's have a look. Measured move to 600. Yeah, measured move off that opening drive up would take it to 987, which would be a wash of that low that we put in Friday. So it could do if it got heavy. Well, all I'd say is where that 5-day is, and you've got sort of support structure from basically the low that we put in overnight, 613 to 610-ish is kind of a back test of that breakout level from Thursday, Friday. All right, start failing under that, then yes, we're going to go and tap 590s, basically, is what I would say. Does that make sense, Foster Scott? I can grab it up on a chart if it's better. Yeah, cool. So yeah, and structure-wise, ES just looks so much better right now. On all time frames, just looks like a nicer trader right now. Flow zone starting to try and go red. I just struggle to trust much right now in this range. Still have that seller 200 lot just above 130. He's still up there. That buyer 100 lot still sat at 0.62. Low hanging fruit definitely looks good for ES here. Really should go and take out previous day low. We are rejecting POC now in the last few sessions. 66 kind of key here. Breaker 66 opens up the door towards 30, opens up the door towards 100 flat. Here goes ES looking for that previous day low and overnight low we talked about. Lots of stops right here where we are right now. Right here on this IBL, lots of stops there. Trying to see if there's a buyer on the tape under here because there's no wash down at all. So we popped the stops and traded straight back upside again. Didn't even see it get under there, to be honest. So it might be range rotation if it cannot break down under the IBL. Remember, relative strength in tech. I keep saying it over and over again. You have a mixed bag in tech right now. Probably going to call it a day here. Like literally nothing happening. No trade to take. And so be it. Protecting IBL here. Did pop those stops. In a typical range rotation, we are in a 70-point range, if that. Maybe we get an expansion, maybe we don't. But like I said, I'm not going to sit here and watch paint dry. Temptation will just build and build and build and build. If we get that expansion down, just watch for those point of controls that we were talking about on these hourly charts, right? Just watch about all these levels, value area lows, and point of controls. And I'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully, well, I'm fairly sure tomorrow we're going to have a much, much better day. We've got news driving tomorrow, and that matters. Watch this 5-day as well on the daily, but notice how we've come back inside the key levels on the daily, trading back inside the Bollinger Band, back towards that 5-day moving average, which is what we wanted to see. So let's see what we get with CPI tomorrow. Be patient, be safe, watch this now to see if you get that sort of expansion for a trend day or if it's going to be a failed IB breakout and a rotation right back up. I'll be back 10 o'clock tomorrow, maybe a little bit earlier, and I will see you then. Sorry we didn't get a better day today. Maybe it's going to start to play out now, but I'm definitely not going to sit here and watch it all day. Peace and love, be kind to each other, use hard stops. See you soon.